Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 83 of Crunch Time with the N326 Duo. I'm your host, Sam Godsey, and with me today, as always, is Tanner Dislin. Tanner, we got a new setup. How you liking it?
I tell you what, I like it a lot better, man. It's off to a great start. You actually said the correct number of
Yeah,
the episode. Our first take lasted about 5 seconds because he said 38 instead of 83. So a great start to the recording session. But yeah, man, I really like it. We're in the living room now. We had talked about the ability to live react to sports. Well, we made that a lot more possible. We're right in front of our TVs with Iowa basketball starting here in 15 minutes, so you'll get some live reactions to that. And of course, got to throw in the autographed helmet by Iowa legend Marvin McNutt, adding it to our
absolutely.
setup. It's sweet, man. I'm really excited.
Yeah. So we're going to be live reacting. We got Houston and SMU on the telly before the Hawkeye game. So we'll be live reacting throughout the episode with that. But unfortunately, everybody, the NFL season has ended. It last Sunday it ended with that terrific Super Bowl. But of course, as the NFL season has been all season, there's some controversy, but we will touch on that shortly. It's time to jump into basketball, and boy, did we have a bunch of Woj bombshells on NBA trade deadline day. We'll talk about that and
Packed
so
episode.
much more
Packed episode.
on episode 83 of Crunch Time. Tanner, let's hop right into this, man.
Let's do it.
Super Bowl 57. Kansas City Chiefs defeat your beloved Philadelphia Eagles 38-35. What were your first thoughts on this one?
Oh man, I tell you what, it was pretty sweet. Obviously, I'm always going to be happy when the Eagles and more broadly the city of Philadelphia loses. But in all seriousness, now though, what a great game! And I feel like it's been a long time since we've had a game this good. I know last year between the Rams and the Bengals, it wasn't a bad game. It just wasn't this high scoring.
Yeah.
This game had everything, right? It had the high scoring. It was a close game. It had a comeback, and it even had a moment of doom when Mahomes kind of limped off with that injury, and it felt like, oh great, here we go again. But he came back from that injury and led a historic second half for the Chiefs, and the Super Bowl champions, man. It was a really fun game to be a part of if you were not rooting for the Eagles.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Obviously, a lot of controversy. I'm sure Philadelphia Eagles are not happy, honestly, with their player of what he said post game because they don't have something to blame it on. But yeah, awesome game. Mahomes, absolute legend, absolute gamer, just unbelievable game. Now, if you look at his stats, they don't really pop out at you, though. I mean, 21 for 27, no doubt impressive, but only 182 yards and 3 touchdowns. Not the typical Mahomes stat line we're used to seeing. But I mean, it got him a Super Bowl ring, so I don't think he really cares.
Yeah, I'm not. You didn't come in and just light the place on fire and throw all over the place, right? He only had 182 yards, but this game totally captured the true essence of Patrick Mahomes in that he's as tough as it gets, right? As the kids are saying now, he's got that dog in him.
He got that dog in him.
He's got that dog in him. It doesn't matter if he's got a high ankle sprain. Doesn't matter if he re-aggravated it. He's going to come in and play good football. 0 interceptions, turnover free.
Yeah.
Turnover free game from Mahomes. Can't say the same about his counterpart in Philly, and that may be one of the big reasons why the game. I mean, you're telling me a team won by 3 when their quarterback only threw for 182 yards? Well, they got a free touchdown.
Yeah.
They got a free touchdown from, of course, Jalen Hurts fumbling. That was a huge part of the game. Completely flipped momentum and gave it right back to the Chiefs after that fumble. So playing turnover-free football, being clutch in the red zone. I mean, he had 3 touchdown passes, even though he only had 182 yards. And just being a gamer, being a true gamer with one leg, one arm, doesn't matter. Mahomes is going to give you all that he's got. And when you're as good as Patrick Mahomes, that's all you need to win a freaking Super Bowl.
Yeah. No doubt Mahomes was phenomenal. I do want to give props to Jalen Hurts. I think he kind of solidified himself with this game as one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. 304 yards, 1 touchdown. The only real hiccup was that fumble.
Yeah,
I mean,
and a big one at that.
he did it on both ends. He ran it well. He had 3 touchdowns rushing, 1 touchdown passing. So for me at least, he kind of solidified himself as one of the top dogs in the NFL.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts was awesome. He was awesome. Of course, that phantom fumble, which it would have been one thing if it was just a straight up bad play, but he just straight up dropped the ball, which it's you can blame him for it, but I feel like that's just not going to happen. So
Yeah,
I have it's not like that's a play that's going to repeat a lot. It was a freak play. So, but 304 yards. I mean, I before the game, I pulled you over and I said, Sam, one of these quarterbacks is going to throw for 304 yards, and the other one is going to throw for 182. Surely you're going to have Hurts
yeah.
throw for the 302, right?
Uh-huh.
It was crazy how good he looked at times. I mean, obviously, we know what he can do with his legs. He had 3 rushing touchdowns
Yeah,
and a passing touchdown. Fantastic game from Jalen Hurts. Fantastic game. If the Eagles defense could come up with one
yeah.
more stop in the second half, just one more, it seems like we're having a completely different conversation about this game.
Yeah, I mean, the story kind of coming into this game was they had both teams have tremendous talent on the offense, but the real disparity was that Eagles defense, especially that defensive line and the Chiefs offensive line. It was like can this offensive line contain such a dominant defense that has been dominant all season no matter who they played? And Tanner, I think we underestimated how good the Chiefs' offensive line is.
Yeah, they looked really good, man. They looked really good, and I mean that was the difference in the game, right? I mean, that's what I had said. If their defense was able to come up with just one more stop and
Yeah,
without a pass rush, that the Philadelphia Eagles, the 2022-2023 Philadelphia Eagles had the most sacks in the NFL by far
yeah, it
this
wasn't
season,
even
and I
close.
think they were top 5, top 6, top 8, something like that in sacks in NFL history in a single season.
Yeah,
Like this was a historically good pass rush, and I mean the Chiefs' offensive line heard everybody saying how it's the Eagles' defense is going to get past them on every snap. Didn't matter what they did. And they came with a chip on their shoulder, man. They were tough. They were physical. And they protected the hell out of Patrick Mahomes. And
yeah,
when the Eagles roster is so reliant on that pass rush, if you're able to stop it, you're able to put up 38 points on one of the better defenses in the league.
yeah. It was a great game, like we've been saying. I kind of want to focus on kind of the greatness of Patrick Mahomes. We've seen him be the best quarterback. I think he is the best quarterback, and the gap between him and number 2 just grew quite a large amount. But let's just talk about that, Terrence. Is Patrick Mahomes the guy in the NFL?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I totally agree. It's really not. It's really not that close, man. I mean, I don't know. I truly don't know what I can say to truly portray just how great this guy is. I mean, anyone listening to this, they follow sports, they follow
Yeah.
football. I mean, what this guy has accomplished in 5 years as a
Yeah.
starting quarterback. 2 Super Bowl championships, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 3 Super Bowl trips in 5 years. 60% of your year starting, you went to
That's
the Super Bowl.
ridiculous.
40% of your year starting, you won the Super Bowl and you won the Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
40% of your year starting, you won NFL MVP. Oh, and 100% of the year starting, you went to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
I don't know. And one of those years, you lost your best weapon.
That's what I was
You
about to
lost your
say.
best weapon, and it was pretty common take within NFL talking heads that Kansas City was going to take a big year of regression. I mean, I think I had did both of us have the Chargers winning the division?
Yeah, I think so.
Idiot. Never doubt Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Because this was supposed to be the hardest division in football. and he just wiped the
Yeah.
floor with these losers, man.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, he is the king in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean,
King.
no doubt.
Sorry, Derrick Henry. I know it's your nickname.
No doubt. I totally agree. And for those, I don't know. I'm sure there's doubters out there that say Andy Reid's one of the best coaches of all time, which no doubt I agree. But I personally think Patrick Mahomes would have been doing this anywhere. The thing that makes Patrick Mahomes so great, you get the highlight reels, you get the shovel passes, you get the dipsy do dunkaroo crazy bonanza plays.
You get the corn dog.
The corn
The
dog.
corn dog in the snow globe.
The corn dog in the snow globe. And yeah, it just plays he makes. He makes where I was going with that was he makes his teammates go to a level they haven't before. I mean, we especially saw it in this game. We had Kadarius Toney, we had Juju Smith, we had Sky Moore. Is that his name?
Yeah, Sky Moore.
Yeah, Sky Moore. And he just it's incredible. And yeah.
It's completely incredible. And one thing I want to say about the Andy Reid comment, like I love Andy Reid. Andy Reid, as you said, solidified himself as a top tier coach. Frankly, in NFL history, right?
Yeah,
He's been doing it for a long
doubt.
time. 2 Super Bowl rings now. Been to what 3 Super Bowl? Like the dude knows how to coach football very well. But yes, there are situations that are more favorable. Like obviously, you're probably going to have more success if you get drafted to the Chiefs, play under Andy Reid, and I mean, the year he sat was under Alex Smith, and the Chiefs were a pretty good team that year, right? They went to the playoffs, so he was already in a good spot in terms of talent around him, in terms of coaching. Like, yes, that is absolutely true. But have we learned nothing from Tom Brady and Bill Belichick?
Exactly.
They split up. What did Tom Brady do? He won a goddamn Super Bowl because he was that guy.
Yeah.
What did Bill Belichick do? Snuck into the playoffs, and then this year missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
In 2 years without him. So
that's a great point.
Yes, like obviously you're gonna be more successful when you're in a situation like Mahomes as compared to a situation like like Tua was drafted in Miami, or like even Zach Wilson was drafted.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson has 1/1000th of the talent that the other guys do, but that's a bad situation.
Like Herbert. Let's go with Herbert.
Right, like Herbert.
Yeah.
All his players are always hurt. He's one of the worst offensive coordinators.
Not anymore.
Right now they have Kellen Moore
to
put salt in that wound a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's exactly what I'm talking about. A team that's always hurt, bad offensive coordinator, and a head coach that goes for it on every single play. So when you're, these favorable situations help, and sure, they maybe help mold the player. But right now, with this exact team, you put a different coach in it, they're still, they might not win the Super Bowl, but they're making it to the Super Bowl, and that's just the greatness of Mahomes.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Obviously, great game. We've said it a million times, but it's the NFL. There has to be controversy. It's just part of the NFL now. And we had kind of two cases of some controversy. Obviously, the big one, James Bradbury holding Juju Smith in such a critical play in that game, kind of sealed the deal for the Chiefs to kind of win this one. Was it the right call? I mean, James Bradbury kind of agreed it was the right call. He thought he could get away with it, and he didn't.
Yeah. I mean, this is where it gets really tough, right? Because the situation in the game, I've always had a problem, with the saying, you can't call that at this moment. Well, why not? You broke the rules.
Exactly.
You have to call it. Like, doesn't matter when it is. But in the NFL, I think it's a little different because of the nature of the sport. Like the old cliche, like, oh, you can call holding on every play, you can call pass interference on every play. Like, I really think that's true.
Oh, 100%.
The goal of the referees is not to call every single infraction. It's to call every infraction that had a material effect on the play.
Yeah.
Right? If the quarterback gained a lot of extra time because the defensive lineman was held.
Yeah.
Got to call it, right? If like in this scenario where if he was already kind of throwing it away down the field and he tries to spin out and gets his jersey tugged a little bit, but the throw was like it's the essence of the uncatchable
Yeah.
rule, right? Is that if it doesn't really affect the play, it shouldn't be called. And again, I just have such a hard time because I'm not sure that affected that play
Yeah.
very much. But then again, he held him. That screenshot that has been shared of the play where James Bradbury, Juju's running like north south, and Bradbury kind of has his left hand around him. That's not where they called the penalty,
Yeah.
right? Because that was not a hold. That specific instance was not. He was not held. They called it out of his break, right? Because he kind of ran a route, ran a little. He went up and then back out, and as he was coming out of that change of direction, his jersey was held with James Bradbury's other hand,
Yeah.
right? So if he doesn't get slowed down there, maybe he's 2, 3, 4 yards down the field, and that's a much more makeable play. Like it's so hard when the hold occurs so early, and that's why I think they called it because when it occurs so early as to where the play ended up, you kind of have to assume that he was going to get there, that he was going to catch it, and that's where the problem lies. I probably wouldn't have had. I don't think I would have been overly upset if they didn't call it.
Yeah.
I'm obviously not overly upset that they did because I do think it was a hold.
Yeah.
But I think Eagles fans have a fair reason to be a little annoyed. Saying
Yeah.
it's the reason they lost is wrong.
Yeah.
Straight up wrong. But I think they have reason to be annoyed because I'm just not sure it completely materially affected the outcome.
Yeah. I totally agree. Right call. I also hate you just can't call that. No, if it's a flag, it's a flag. It
Break the
shouldn't
rules.
matter.
Break the rules.
But that unfortunately that wasn't the only controversy with this game. Let's talk about the
fix was
sod
in.
gate.
The fix was in.
So, for those of you who don't know, I don't know how you haven't heard of this story. Basically, what happened is they grew. I think it's called Tahoma, whatever.
I think it's Tahoma 31.
Tahoma 31 grass. They grew it for 2 weeks before Super Bowl. Cost $800,000. Had this old groundskeeper who, by the way, has 2 Super Bowl rings from the Kansas City Chiefs, but we're not going to talk about that. And basically, it turned out to be one of, if not the worst football fields I've ever watched a game on. Like up there with the old Oakland Raiders, like Oakland A's stadium.
Oh yeah,
Like it was
Oakland
that bad.
Coliseum. Oh yeah.
Obviously, I think I read some 36% of the Eagles' plays, someone slipped. Just a terrible,
I think it was.
terrible field.
I think that was 36% of Mahomes dropbacks.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Someone on the Chiefs D line in pass rush.
Yeah,
Slipped.
yeah,
Which again, we just spent 10 minutes talking about how one of the biggest factors in the game was that the Eagles pass rush couldn't get any pressure on Patrick Mahomes. Well, we might know why.
Yeah. So kind of, what are your thoughts on this whole sod gate?
Now, you know how I said that Eagles fans had a right to be a little annoyed by that penalty. I think they have a full-fledged gripe.
Yeah.
With how this played out. The field was terrible. You said it, and Eagles linebacker Son Reddick. I mean, one of the better linebackers in the league is having a fantastic year. He said after the game, he said, "I'm not gonna lie, it was the worst field I've ever played on. It's really disappointing because it's the NFL. You think it would be better so we can get some better play, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
So this is the worst field he ever played on, and visually, that checks out.
Yeah.
That absolutely checks out. It was torn to shreds, like you said. Everybody slipping most of the time. The Eagles, and I know what a lot of people are going to say. It's wow, they played on the same turf. It affected both teams the same. I'm not sure that's true because we just talked at length about how the Eagles defense one of their strengths was their defense.
Yeah.
If you put up the Eagles offense versus the Chiefs offense, the Chiefs offense would win. The Chiefs
Yeah.
offense was a better offense.
100%.
Nobody was arguing that. Eagles were a better team because they had a better defense. They had a top-tier defense. And that was basically taken out. That was completely taken out. When you level the playing field on defense, obviously the team with the stronger offense is probably going to win.
Yeah.
And that was the Chiefs. So I don't buy that it affected both teams the same. I think it clearly favored the Chiefs in this game that the Eagles just couldn't get their footing. And that's not to say the Chiefs didn't slip. I think that stat was around like 15% of Eagles pass rush or Chiefs pass rush on Jalen Hurts dropbacks. They fell, so it definitely did affect the Chiefs, but not as much as the Eagles. So I think the Eagles fans have a totally 100% valid reason to be upset with the NFL over the treatment of this turf, grass, whatever. It was awful. It was absolutely awful.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it changed the game, like you said. So, Tanner, are you a turf or grass guy?
Dude, visual. I tell you what, man. I've always been a turf guy. I understand that there are a lot more injuries that come with it, and that sucks. But as a fan, watching the game, I always found it much more enjoyable to watch turf,
especially with the blue turf at Boise State.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
beautiful!
not quite that one.
Beautiful.
But when you don't have shards of dirt and grass
Yeah.
all over the floor, when jerseys are clean, right? Like,
Yeah.
I get the appeal if some people like the white jersey to have
like
paint from the end zone or
the Bears. Who'd they play? And it was basically a monsoon.
Yeah, they played against the 49ers. Yeah, where all the white jerseys are
that was
just
pretty
colored,
sick.
like,
that was pretty sick. I enjoyed that.
Right. I get the appeal. I get the appeal of like the tough, hard-nosed football. You get dirty, blah blah blah. But I think visually, watching, the players are quicker. It just looks cleaner. The field looks way cleaner. I think visually speaking, it looks a lot better to watch a game on turf. I did see a clip, however, I think it was in the Packers-Eagles game, where one of the Eagles' offensive linemen, I think it might have been Lane Johnson, he got on a screen, he was out blocking, and he got hit in the leg.
Yeah.
As he was running, like straight on, hitting the leg. And because it was grass, it allowed for when he flipped over, his leg was able to get loose and flip with him. Where if he was on turf, his leg might have gotten stuck and his knee would have bent, and it probably would have been a serious, serious injury. So grass saved him from that. But obviously this doesn't happen.
Honestly, I'm cool with either. Obviously, when players slip nonstop, you're gonna have a issue with grass. I mean, it's just part of it. I think I do tend to lean turf though, but I don't hate a good grass.
But I consider myself to be a pro athlete in type of, so if the athletes want grass,
give them
then
grass.
by all means give them grass. But like I said, speaking from a fan experience, I kind of like turf.
Yeah, I mean, let us know what you thought about the costly penny. Go ahead.
You just look and you take a deep dive into this Sodgate. You mentioned his name was George Toma.
Thank you.
George Toma was the 94-year-old groundskeeper.
You think he was? You think he was running white lines, or did he have his crew with him? I really hope he like ran his own lines, like end zone and all that.
Dude, I saw. I can't remember if it's on Twitter or TikTok or something, but someone said he was that that Red Bull commercial where he drinks it and he mows like the player.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the level of fix that was in here. But in all seriousness, a 94-year-old who started working at Arrowhead Stadium in 1957. You said he has 2 rings with the Chiefs. Most recently in 2020, he's a Chiefs fan, Kansas City resident. And you want to know where the grass was grown?
Oklahoma State, baby.
Who's Oklahoma State's biggest rival?
Oklahoma.
Did one of their quarterbacks play for Oklahoma?
You might be onto something.
Dude, like,
you might be onto
I'm
something.
Probably reading too much into it.
Definitely.
Definitely reading too much into it, but you cannot lie. These chips were stacked against the Eagles at the moment.
Damn, you sound like a Philly fan out here, Tanner.
Oh, no, don't ever say that. Tinfoil hat on. The fix was in.
Yeah.
Tinfoil hat off.
Oh. Oh. But yeah, man. Great game. Unfortunately, outside issues were part of it.
I don't know if you know this, but I thought I'd just share this piece of information with all the fans out there. That is now 3 straight professional championships the city of Philadelphia
I know
has
that.
lost.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, 3 straight. If you don't want to count MLS, fine. I would tend to agree with you on that.
Justice for MLS, man.
So 3 if you count MLS. If you want to stick to major sports, 2. Still, 2 straight is not great.
Yeah, NFL and MLS.
Right.
But
yeah,
yeah,
I guess losing. It's a Philly thing.
It's a Philly thing.
It's a Philly thing.
Yeah, man. But overall, great game. Can't complain too much. Obviously, would not want the penalties and the side gate, of course. But the Hawks are on 16:46 left in the first half. I was off to a blazing start at Carver Hawkeye, 8-3. So be prepared for some live reactions. A lot of yelling probably from Tanner. But
hey, I don't yell when I watch sports.
No, never.
Never.
But just check the tape of the last pod, and
I yell a lot. But I will say, I will disagree with something you said. You can't complain. I will complain because football is gone.
Oh, disagree.
Okay.
What about the XFL
God,
this Saturday?
No,
Come on now.
I'm going to be a European football.
Oh, nice. Good choice.
Like European American Football League.
Yeah.
Like La Liga or something. But yeah, this may shock you. I'm hitching my wagon to the Vienna Vikings. They straight
Classic.
up hit copy and paste on the Vikings logo, colors, all of it. But I'm here for it. I love a European extension of the Vikings. They hope they don't plan on winning a championship because that won't happen. But go Vikings, go Vienna.
There you go.
What about you, Sam? Have you picked a team yet?
I haven't, man. I've been locked in on my DC Defenders in the XFL this year, man.
You and PFT, huh?
Yeah,
so
huge. I think Ben DiNucci's on there too.
Okay, that makes more sense.
So,
Cowboys guy, Ben DiNucci.
Big Ben DiNucci guy.
Classic. Well, I tell you what, man. I'm thinking you should let us know what European.
My bad. He's a Seattle Sea Dragon.
Oh, okay.
I apologize.
So
go Sea Dragons. Absolutely.
But let us know what should his European American football team be.
In European, I need a soccer team. You know.
Oh yeah.
No. I'm not waking up at 6 a.m. to watch.
Well, that's just EPL.
EPL. I mean, yeah, that's true.
Bundesliga.
We're huge footy guys here.
La Liga, that's another one.
I'm an MLS guy.
Classic.
Go Galaxy.
Go Galaxy.
Nah. Seattle Sounders. Big Seattle guy.
We know so much about soccer.
Clint Dempsey does not play still.
Oh, he used to.
He used to be a Seattle guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But that wraps it up for Super Bowl 57 talk. Real football is gone for now, but we'll see what happens in the offseason. NFL draft coming up. Aaron Rodgers coming back from his darkness retreats. Let's see how that goes. I'm sure it's going great. And let's see how the Vikings screw up this offseason.
Ouch.
But that is it for some football talk for now. We will be back with some NBA trade deadline talk after this quick ad break. Have you and your friends ever wanted to start a podcast? Because we have, and obviously that's why we're doing this right now. But we couldn't have done it without our tremendous sponsor, Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Anchor has the tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Hey, Sam, that's pretty cool. How much does it cost?
Dude, just wait.
Oh, okay.
Just wait.
Okay.
And then they go on and do it for you. distribute your podcast for you on listening platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And Tanner, to answer your question, $0, absolutely free.
Stop the cap.
Dude, I ain't capping. I ain't capping. It is 100% free. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Thank you so much to our sponsor, Anchor, for sponsoring this episode. Tanner, with football wrapping up, it's time to talk some basketball, some hoops. We got the Hawks playing right now in college, but kind of the big news, let's be honest, it's kind of the thing that tips off the NBA season.
Nice. Tips
Like
off
that,
the NBA
like that,
season.
like that. Of course, we're talking about the trade deadline, Wojs and Shams, Christmas, and boy, did we have a great one. So, first trade went down on February 5th. Kyrie, who has been expressing troubles with the Nets organization, finally gets traded to the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas Mavericks get Kyrie Irving and Markieff Morris. Nets get Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, a 2029 first-round pick, and 2 second-round picks. Tanner, what are your thoughts on this one?
Big time confusion.
Yeah.
I understand. I totally get the Brooklyn Nets wanting to be free of the Kyrie Irving experience. I would also want to be free of the Kyrie Irving experience. And I also understand their unwillingness to trade him to his preferred destination, the Lakers. I totally understand all of that. And one for Tony Perkins. Nice. But I totally understand.
And one.
Totally understand all that. And honestly, for the time it went down, I kind of liked this trade for Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Something changed, and we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But for Dallas, I just don't know. I just don't know, because we're going to look into the numbers here, because obviously the classic take whenever two superstars play together, there's only one ball, right? How are they going to share? There's only one ball.
Especially with two guys like Kyrie and Luka.
Well, it changes a little bit when they're both point guards, right? They both play a point guard position, and they are both, they are both top 4 in isolation percentage. Luka Doncic is in ISO 23.9% of his possessions. Kyrie Irving, 23.7.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Sounds about right.
That is a lot. And I wonder if Jason Kidd, he's played a few games now. Frankly, I haven't really watched, but if he's able to, in his rotation, somehow get a lineup where they share the floor to start, share the floor to end, but they're kind of staggered in the middle to keep one on the floor and not really have a true second unit.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Because it is the fit is odd. I understand the Mavericks totally want to get another superstar to pair with Luka Doncic. They've tried it with Kristaps. They had a let's call it what it is. What looks like a superstar point guard on their roster last year. They refused to sign him. Now he's killing it in New York. That's my dog, Jalen Brunson. Anyway, that clearly worked.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson is not Kyrie Irving. They don't have the same game. They don't score the same way. I am very concerned at the fit. Obviously, they're two fantastic basketball players. It will probably work. I do think this team got better, but of all the trades of free agents to jump on, I'm not sure Kyrie was it, but who knows?
Yeah. It didn't make much sense to me because, as you said, both ISO dominant point guards. Is Luka considered a point? He can play like 1 through 3, so I have no idea. But So I was like, this is weird. And then I saw him play. And Luca Luca. He's gonna get his. But Kyrie, in his first 4 games, he's had 24 points, 24 points against the Clippers, 25 and 28 against the Kings. And then Minnesota, he went off for 36. He's averaging about 6 assists and around 5 rebounds. So he's not playing bad. It's just in the big moments, who do you give the ball to? Personally, I think you give it to Luca because
I'd
we
agree.
we seen him take over games. Not saying Kyrie can't, but it's just interesting. I don't hate the trade, seeing how it panned out. Kind of hated it as it went through, but seeing how it's kind of played out, I'm still iffy.
Yeah,
I I'm
I'm the
not
same way. I'm the
I'm
same way.
not all in on this, but I'm not hating it.
Right, because again, I think this made the team better, but it was a large investment for a shaky fit.
Yeah,
I think, but just the quality of the player, again, like I said, makes this team better. But it's a shaky fit
yeah.
is what I
So
think.
yeah, absolutely. Um, Also, I think it's very weird that the Nets want Spencer Dinwiddie of all people, because he was on your team what, couple years, 2, 3, 4 years ago.
Right. So this is where the haul gets interesting because it made sense to me in the moment because the Nets at that point were still in win now mode, right? You had Kevin Durant on your roster. You
Yeah.
traded away Kyrie Irving, but you got back Spencer Dinwiddie. You can be a starting point guard.
Mm-hmm.
You got back Dorian Finney-Smith, an elite defensive wing,
Yeah.
someone who is going to be an absolute lockdown defender on the perimeter. Huge, right? That is huge. And you got some picks. You got rid of Markieff Morris. You got rid of Kyrie, whatever. I liked it. I liked adding a starting caliber point guard, and I liked adding an elite wing defender. But that all changed when they traded Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
And I'm very confused at the organizational philosophy as to
Mm-hmm.
what their future is going to be because I feel like you could have gotten a much better package geared towards the future.
Yeah.
They didn't. They went with some role players again, point guard and wing defense, which is fine. But when you go and trade Kevin Durant shortly thereafter, it confuses me.
Yeah.
It confuses me. And if you know that was the plan to trade Kevin Durant, I probably would have gone with a different package.
Yeah. I totally agree. You know, let's let's talk about that trade.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's talk about the cupcake himself,
Oh, let's go.
Kevin Durant. Obviously, unless you've been living under a rock for the past week, got traded to the Suns. Him and TJ Warren are heading to Phoenix, and the Nets get a interesting haul. McCall Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, 4 first-round picks, and a 2028 pick swap. Tanner, what was your first reaction to this?
First off, love this deal for Phoenix. Like, obviously, we know the caliber of player Kevin Durant is. Anytime you can add Kevin Durant, like we're talking about fit doesn't matter when it's
Yeah,
Kevin Durant. Fit doesn't
exactly.
matter when it's Giannis Antetokounmpo, and fit doesn't matter when it's LeBron James, right? They're
Exactly.
just so well-rounded basketball players that I also say fit doesn't matter when you have Steph Curry. But let's say those four are the only ones where the fit doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I have to say with that. I mean, Kevin Durant clearly wanted to be in Phoenix, right?
Mhm.
He had said so. What was it in the off season? Was it?
Yeah.
And then decided to come back, play for Brooklyn. The goal was clearly for him to get to Phoenix.
Yeah.
Again, because he demanded that trade in the offseason, and then you go ahead and trade Kyrie. And there were numerous reports saying when Kyrie asked for the trade, KD was upset, he was pissed, he was
Yeah.
surprised. It was pretty clear that KD was going to want to get out of Brooklyn.
Yeah, exactly.
it just again seems to me like there was a better, more future focused trade for the Nets. Anyway, love it for the Suns. A lot of comments about the depth.
Yeah.
I do think the Suns have depth issues, but I thought the Suns had depth issues before the trade,
Yeah.
right? The Suns got rid of 2 rotation pieces. I mean, they obviously, yes, they threw in Jay Crowder, but Jay Crowder was not playing. He was sitting there. He
Yeah.
was not a part of the rotation. So you gave up Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, 2 solid rotation players for Kevin Durant and TJ Warren.
Yeah.
Obviously, Kevin Durant, one of the best players in the league. TJ Warren, I mean, I think he's going to play for him, right?
Yeah.
So he's going to be a guy who's in the rotation. So you got 2 rotation pieces, and you traded 2 rotation pieces. I don't think the depth took that big of a hit.
Yeah.
It's I agree. They do have depth issues, but that is not because of the trade. They have depth issues. They had depth issues before the trade.
Exactly. Yeah. Y'all know I hate Kevin Durant. No, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This so I work late the night of trade deadline, and of course I see the news that Kevin Durant has gotten traded once again to a championship contending team with one of the best NBA players in deep book. And being my typical self, I go on my little Twitter rant of Kevin Durant calling him Cupcake. It's just so this isn't surprising. We've seen Kevin Durant do it over and over. He claims he wants to be the guy, but every goddamn time he wants to be the guy, he runs away. We saw it. He was the guy in OKC. He lost in the Western Conference Finals to the Warriors when they were up, I believe, 3-1. He bailed on them to join the team that he lost to. Joined one of the best NBA teams of all time, not just in our lifetime, Taryn, of all time, with the greatest shooter of all time. He gets it done there. He goes to the Nets to team up with, guess what, Tanner? 2 more freaking superstars, and James Harden and Kyrie Irving. And guess what? That didn't work. And we see it over and over. And every time the other superstars, obviously exception with Golden State, but every time the other superstars leaves, he finds a new home with more superstars, but he claims he wants to be the guy, and he said actions speak louder than words. That's all I'm saying. This is ridiculous, soft as shit. I hate you, Kevin Durant. You're the worst, and you're a cupcake forever and always. Screw you, KD.
Well said, my man. Well said. Yeah, you know, as good as he is at basketball, is as soft as his mental is, man. He went to Brooklyn to get away from Steph and be the guy. That blew up in his face. And what does he do? He goes running to another. I mean, is this a super team?
I mean,
I'd say what you need 3 to be a super team.
it comes down. It comes down to, do you think Ayton is a superstar? I
don't think so. But anytime when you put together Chris Paul, Devin Booker.
Oh, Chris Paul. I forgot about Chris Paul.
Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and DeAndre Ayton. If not a super team,
it's damn close.
Right. It is damn close. And it's just every stop of the way is with other superstars. And when that doesn't work, he goes running to another superstar to try and figure it out. Exactly what you said, Sam. It's soft. It is soft. He is soft, but he's really good at putting the ball in the hoop.
No doubt.
So
that's probably what's paining me the most. He was on the Thunder.
No
one cares if it's soft. Exactly.
But he's really good.
He's really
good. Now, so I was talking how I really like this deal for the Suns. It's where he wants to be.
Yeah.
And again, fit doesn't matter when you're Kevin Durant. What do you think about that Nets return?
I like it.
I
You
love it.
got
I
a
love the return.
you got obviously Drake Crowder probably gonna get released.
He
I
actually
think he
he actually
has
got
gotten released.
he got traded. So
Traded.
later some teams came in and Jay Crowder was sent over to the Bucks.
Okay.
So yeah, he's with the Bucks
So
now.
okay, so that piece, McCall Bridges, one. I mean, we saw what he did last night, dropping 45
45.
career high. I love that acquisition. A good solid piece for a young team. Cam Johnson, obviously not. He's a building piece, and I liked it. 4 first-round picks and a 2028 pick swap. I kind of like the haul for the Nets. I love it a lot more than what they got for Kyrie.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
I love the haul for the Nets. I mean, McCall Bridges is such a unique player. He's what 6'6" or something, 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah,
He's got a 7'4" wingspan or
yeah, it's
something. The
ridiculous.
dude looks like Slender Man out on the court. With how long his arms are. He is he's talented offensively. He can shoot the ball, great defensively. Oh, and he doesn't miss basketball games. He's
That's
the
important.
anti-Clipper. He plays basketball games. And that is critical. I mean, in an NBA climate where load management and missing games is such a huge thing, being able to play in basketball games. He's like a 4-year streak or something, and
Yeah.
he did miss a game, which I don't think counts against his streak because the paperwork was still being filed within the
Yeah.
NBA, so he couldn't have played. So it doesn't count against his streak, but I love Mikal Bridges as a basketball player. He's so unique with his wingspan, with his defensive abilities, the amount he plays, his offensive skill set. Like you said, dropped 45. I love this. I love this move for the future.
Yeah.
Now imagine if you paired that with instead of Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith, again, who are good players, good pieces on a win-now team. Now imagine if you put those two young pieces with all the picks you got with some more forward-looking moves from that deal. Again, I'm just not sure that Dorian Finney-Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie was the package if you knew you were going to go ahead and trade Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
And now you kind of have those two role player moves with two young, good players, a ton of picks. You don't really have a direction. So maybe you can entice someone to come in free agency, and you have all these role players that you just got, and then you can have another superstar in free agency. I don't really know how.
Who wants to play with Ben Simmons?
Okay, that is an interesting one too, because we forgot about Ben Simmons, but also, I mean, how is this any sort of glowing recommendation when if you are a free agent, hey, go play in Brooklyn?
Yeah.
Like something was clearly wrong. Now it could be that it was the players. That's totally fair and honestly probably the case.
Yeah.
But when you look at it and what was successful, where would you want to go as a free agent? Brooklyn's probably not on the top of your list right now after everything that just went down.
Yeah. No doubt about that. Crazy. The Nets basically exploded their entire roster. Got some solid pieces, got some not so solid pieces, confusing pieces, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, just overall, KD trade to me, when you look at everything, fit, compensation, all of it, KD trade makes way more sense.
Absolutely.
Than the Kyrie trade.
Yeah. Spencer Dinwiddie, now another guy that got traded to a previous team.
Oh, we had a whole lot of those.
A lot. But let's talk about this Lakers, Timberwolves, and Jazz trade. Lakers get back D'Angelo Russell in addition to Malik Beasley and Jared Vanderbilt. T-Wolves got Mike Conley, Nickel, Alexander Walker, Nikhil Nickel. That's a tough name. 3 second rounders, and then the Jazz got Russ, Juan Toscano Anderson, Damian Jones, and a 2027 first rounder. Tanner, what were your thoughts on this one?
Again, just entirely more confusion. Specifically, to be honest with you, I really like this deal for one team. I really like it for Minnesota.
Yeah.
I like their package, right? So they sent Malik Beasley and Jared Vanderbilt. Right? Were they T-Wolves or were they Jazz? I think they were both Timberwolves, weren't they? Were they not?
Yeah. What's
But the
it?
problem, because some of them were traded from the T-Wolves to the Jazz in the Rudy Gobert trade.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even
So
think about that.
keeping track of everybody. Malik Beasley was on the Jazz. See, I'm already confused. He went to the Jazz from the Tim. Anyway, whatever.
Anyway,
Forget I said any of that. I really like this for Minnesota because I'm not a big D'Angelo Russell guy. I think you know this. I've said this in the past where I personally don't think he's all that good, but I am a Mike Conley guy. I love Mike Conley as a point guard. And when you have star players like Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns, I think again
and Rudy Gobert, come on now.
and Rudy
Put some
Gobert,
respect on my guy's name.
the big F word I keep talking about, fit. And I love this fit for Minnesota with Mike Conley. Plus, they got 3 second rounders. They got Nickel Alexander Walker, Nikhil Alexander Walker, whatever. He's just kind of a salary balancer and whatnot. But
sounded like Charles Barkley out here.
I, again, like this for Minnesota. Love the fit, and I like what they were able to do at point guard. I'm very confused at Utah because Mike Conley, a team that's clearly in rebuild mode. Mike Conley, a piece of theirs. They get involved in this crazy 3-way trade. And the only thing really of value you get back is a 2027 first round pick. I will say it is via the Lakers and it's 2027. So it's in 4 years. LeBron might not be a Laker by then. So that pick might be pretty good because there's any team who's absolutely sold out the future for win now, it's the Los Angeles Lakers. So
for sure,
that 2027 first round pick might be pretty good. But still, really, you only got one thing of value. You didn't get any young players. I mean, you got Russell Westbrook, Juan Toscano-Anderson, and Damian Jones. I don't really know what any of those are doing for you. Russell Westbrook, you're probably gonna buy out.
Yeah.
So I'm just not sure, again, that for your one piece of value of Mike Conley, that getting one first-round pick and not much else in terms of young players and young capital was the best you could have done.
Yeah.
And then for the Lakers –
depth.
Again, depth.
I guess.
I definitely like the Malik Beasley and Jared Vanderbilt pickups. Again, depth is always important. Those two are solid NBA role players. D'Lo, I think he's a much better fit than Russell Westbrook was with the Lakers. Again, like I said, I'm not really a D'Lo guy, but if they basically said, okay, we'll get a talented point guard that's a little bit of a better fit and a couple role players, add some depth, they'll do it. I'm okay with this trade if I'm the Lakers. Utah confused. Minnesota's the winner of this one for me. I like this for Minnesota.
Yeah, this 3-way trade at the surface, I was like, what is this trade about? Like, what's the point of any of these players getting traded,
Mm-hmm.
But I like what you said about Mike Conley. I think another asset he brings to this T-Wolves team is a veteran presence. It's talked about in any young NBA franchise. You need that veteran guy, and there's not much better than Mike Conley, who has had playoff experience, still puts up good minutes, solid minutes. So I love that. I thought that was a great analysis. Lakers, I get what they're trying to do. Again, don't love the D'Angelo Russell, especially when you had him. What was it? A couple 4 or 5 years ago, whenever it was.
They had him up.
He was part of the Julia when all the young talent got traded. And then, like you said, Jazz tank for Victor Wembanyama. That's the only thing that gets me to understand why you got.
I think you could have tanked and gotten more capital. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't
just get a bunch of draft picks. Lakers love giving them out.
Seriously. And and good role players. I mean, we just said Malik Beasley was on the Jazz. You gave him up. Malik Beasley and Mike Conley
Yeah.
2 pieces of value on your team you gave up for 1 first-round pick.
Yeah, very weird. Yeah, this one was confusing. We'll see how it pans out. But yeah, confusing. But I think you nailed it, Tanner. Mike Conley can be a good asset to that T-Wolves team. But kind of wrapping up this NBA trade deadline talk, let's talk about your Knicks, Tanner. Made a splash in the trade deadline. Got Josh Hart from the Trailblazers and sent away Cam Reddish, Ryan Arcidiacono, Svi Mikhailuk, and a 2023 lottery protected first rounder. What were your initial thoughts on this one?
I love this. I love this, Sam. I love this for so many reasons. Now, I'm not going to get in here and act like, Josh Hart is a superstar player.
Yeah.
Where adding him puts us in the top 4. Like that's not the case, obviously. But Josh Hart, I'm in the business of liking good basketball players, and Josh Hart is a good basketball player. He does
Absolutely.
so many things on the floor. He's a Swiss Army knife, a term used a lot. The one thing he can't do very well is shoot from deep, and that's definitely a problem because the Knicks do not shoot very well from deep.
This is true. I don't know, dude. You have a three-point
three-point
contest participant.
Yes, we do in Julius Randle. It's interesting, but he's not. Yeah, so Josh Hart is not your typical 3-and-D guy. He's a very good two-point shooter. I think his overall field goal percentage, the second he was traded for, it immediately was the best field goal percentage on the Knicks that's not a big man. So anytime you can add that level of efficiency is nice. A very good finisher. But the key here are 2 things. The key is his ability to defend and his ability to rebound. If there's 2 things that the New York Knicks do not do well, I guess 3 things, I would throw 3-point shooting in there.
Yeah.
But you don't get that with Josh Hart. But 2 things that the New York Knicks do not do well is defend the perimeter and rebound the basketball.
Yeah.
And Josh Hart is the best rebounding guard / forward, non big man forward in the league.
Yeah.
He is so good at rebounding at his position, and that is exactly what the Knicks need. I'm not sure, Sam. I could give you a lab to create a basketball player. I'm not sure you can create a more Tom Thibodeauian basketball player than Josh Hart. He is a perfect fit, a match made in heaven for this system.
Yeah.
And that level of depth is crucial. And I think the Knicks got a lot better by adding something as simple as Josh Hart. So I love this trade for what you gave up. I mean, you gave up Svi Mikhailuk. That's my guy. But not in the rotation.
Yeah.
Ryan Arcidiacono, not in the rotation. Cam Reddish, not in the rotation.
Yeah.
So you didn't give up much in terms of your team right now. I think you gave up a protected first-round pick. Obviously, a different conversation if that's not protected.
Mm-hmm.
But you were able to get it protected, and it's probably going to be lottery protected. So if you don't get it and that pick is conveyed to Portland, that means you made the playoffs.
Yeah.
So something went right. Right. So again, I really like this deal. I also think it's interesting because what Josh Hart does well, he's kind of like a higher floor, lower ceiling RJ Barrett.
Yeah.
Tall, again, supposed to be a good defender. So I'm interested because RJ Barrett's kind of having a tough season.
Yeah.
The addition of Jalen Brunson, another top tier scorer with Julius Randle, those 2 kind of running the offense and handling the scoring.
Yeah.
RJ Barrett's definitely not a catch and shoot guy. So with those 2 handling a majority of the offense now, RJ's kind of been cast aside. He's been less efficient. Of course, like I said, not really a catch and shoot shooter. I think this might open the door where that level of production can be absorbed by Josh Hart if they feel like they want to move on from RJ Barrett in the offseason. So I think that's also a potential. But again, for what it is right now, love the pickup. I think it makes them deeper. I think it makes them better, and it shores up some of their weaknesses. And I mean, I think they've they've gone on a little bit of a winning streak now. They're 33-27. That's a better record than the Suns, by the way. The Suns are 32-27.
Very
The
nice.
Knicks are 33
We
and
love
27.
that.
So half a point better than the Suns, which also the Suns, I believe, are the 4 seed in the West, and the Knicks the 7 in the East. So classic Mickey Mouse West. Am I right? Mickey
Yep,
Mouse West.
definitely.
But in all seriousness, though, it like I said, makes them deeper, fills up some important weaknesses. And I think it was Richard Jefferson said that the addition of Josh Hart is a player that's a caliber of player that pushes you to the second round of the playoffs. And I think that's the case. They've looked good with him thus far. I'm excited. I'm excited because I love the pickup.
Yeah, man. I totally agree. I think the Knicks are trending in an upward direction. They have solid pieces, Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, and you need that solid piece that can come off the bench. And Josh Hart fills that position. He can even hop in the starting lineup without problem.
Totally agree.
Uh,
Totally agree. And you look at the Knicks right now, like you said, you have an all-star big man who can stretch the floor, who's in the three-point contest,
Yes, sir.
right? And who's basically a walking double-double. You have a point guard who is playing out of his mind, who takes care of the basketball, who is a very good scorer, good shooter. You kind of have the pieces of a damn good basketball team. Now, what are you missing? Like I said, 3-point shooting and wing scoring. Can you think of a player that might have been available recently that fits that mold?
I don't know, man.
Donovan Mitchell! Make the damn trade!
Yeah, that's tough, man. But yeah, I like it. I think it was really cool. Jalen Brunson. I don't know if y'all, I'm sure you have, seeing his reaction to getting Josh Hart a little Villanova reunion.
Yes.
Absolutely thrilled to have Josh Hart in New York. It was a very cool video. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But yeah, I mean, you ain't give up too many pieces. That draft pick, that's about it.
Protected draft pick.
Yeah.
Who cares? Yeah, I very much enjoy this. I tell you what, a story I had after this was, that video was shown, and there was a lot of Villanova love coming out of MSG. Mikal Bridges, who also went to Villanova, tweeted something about Jalen Brunson, and I think he said JB and J Hart with a blue heart for Villanova. And I was actually talking to a buddy of mine, Suns fan, and who loves Mikal Bridges, and I said something like, "Oh, Mikal Bridges to New York, he wants to be with his Villanova boys." I was kind of playing along with that. Of course, next morning we wake up. Turns out he was traded to Brooklyn. So I texted him the next day.
So he is in New York.
And I was like, told you he's coming to New York.
That's funny. That's good. But yeah, those are kind of the big trades, the trades we wanted to talk about. Mike Muscala is no longer a Thunder tier.
Say, man, come on,
tragic.
Big trade deadline for your Thunder.
But yeah, so that kind of kicks off our NBA talk. Obviously, All-Star Weekend this weekend, Celebrity Game Friday, 3-point contest. We got Tyrese Halliburton, Tyler Hero, Buddy Hield, Kevin Hoyter, Dame, Lauri Markkanen, Julius Randle, and of course Jason Tatum.
Who wins the 3-point contest? Go.
Oh man. I'm gonna go Tyler.
Who?
Tyler Hero.
Tyler Hero. I think I'm gonna put in Buddy Hield.
Buddy Hield. Lock? Is it a lock?
I wouldn't call it a lock, but I
faith.
I wouldn't call it a lock, but
damn, no faith in Juju. Come on, man. Watch him win. Dude, does he top Cat for
the best shooting big man?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel it in my bones. I feel like this is gonna be a Buddy Hield.
Buddy Hield? I like it, but not as much as I like Tyler Hero.
Fair.
And then so we got that 3-point, and then it kind of turns into Snoo Fest, the dunk contest. Kenyon Martin, Jr. of the last place Houston Rockets. Trey Murphy, the third role player on the Pelicans. Jericho Sims. There you go,
Yes.
another Nick.
Go New York, go New
And
York, go.
recently acquired from the G League, Mac McClung.
What are
That
we doing, man?
that is where we are at with the dunk contests. Remember, back in the old days, you had Clyde Drexler, Michael Jordan, all these Dominique Wilkins, all these superstars.
Even as far back as Dwight Howard.
Dwight
Was
Howard,
in Blake Griffin.
Blake Griffin,
Like, oh my God.
Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon, one of the best dunk contests I've ever seen. Rigged, but
Yeah, justice for Gordon.
yeah, absolutely. Did you see what he said?
Yeah.
He's like, I'll do it if I'm an all-star. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, dude, that's
Okay.
that's
Slow
kinda
slow
thirsty.
your horses.
Yes. Slow down a little bit, brother. You're not an all-star.
But I mean, he got I thought Shaden Sharp was in this. What happened to him?
Oh, dude, I
he
really
got come
don't know.
on.
I
It
believe
can't be
not,
worse than last year.
Believe it or not, I've cut. Oh,
It probably can be worse than last year. Halftime, Iowa 47, Ohio State 36.
Yeah, nice little run by the Hawkeyes, actually. It was 36-35
Yeah.
Ohio State, and Iowa
Good run.
hit 4 straight threes to go a 12-0 run.
We like it.
47-36.
We like it.
My O was a Ohio State player on a fading away half-court shot, hit the front of the rim. It was actually really close. But
Yeah. But all right,
But
give
yeah,
me your pick, man.
I just have the dunk contest.
Yeah.
Give me the G Leaguer.
Oh no.
Give me
Again,
Mac
going against your
McClung.
Knicks.
Give
Are
me
you
Mac
even a
McClung.
Knicks fan? Or lock? Mac
Mac
McClung.
McClung. Lock.
Dang, that was I like that pick a lot. But I think I'm gonna go Kenyon Martin Jr. because he needs to have a little feeling of winning in the NBA. So I like Kenyon Martin Jr. because
He's a little.
he hasn't won a whole lot. He's got to win at some point.
Yeah, dude, I just can't be a homer, man. I feel like if I picked my Knicks, I'd be a homer. I don't want to do that. And Mac McClung.
You'd never do that. You'd never do that.
And Mac McClung is a lock. McClung is a lock.
Book it, Mac McClung.
I would
Dude,
also.
what a sad lineup.
Yeah, it's really bad. It is really, really bad. But before we sign off, Sam, in a completely different sport, we talked about a trade deadline. I do want to show some love to the New York frickin' Rangers.
Yeah.
Because they are getting my seal of approval. They are officially a wagon.
Wagon.
The New York Rangers
Book it.
are a wagon.
A wagon, y'all.
In the
he doesn't
mix,
say that a whole lot.
No, I don't.
You don't.
I don't. They are a wagon in the mix of the NBA trade deadline. The Rangers went ahead and made a move for Vladimir Tarasenko. Anyone who knows hockey knows who that is. A very good player for the St. Louis Blues, Stanley Cup winner for them. He's an absolute beast, and he was traded to the Rangers along with someone else. I can't remember.
While you're looking at that, because we can't forget the skills challenge in the NBA. We have Team Antetokounmpo again, Giannis, Thanasis, and Alex, and then Team Jazz, of course. You got Jordan Clarkson, Colin Sexton, and of course Walker Kessler, because you gotta have Walker Kessler.
That's another bone to pick I have with Utah. A clear person of value is Jordan Clarkson. How do you not trade him?
Yeah.
Like, that is such a valuable bench piece. That is a proven bench scorer that every single contender in the NBA could use a Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah.
You telling me the Suns wouldn't pay up for Jordan Clarkson after they just got KD and they're all in right now and they're lacking depth? They go and sign Terrence Ross. You telling me they wouldn't take Jordan Clarkson? Of course they would.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get the philosophy from Utah at all, really.
And then to round out the skills challenge, we have Team Rooks with Paulo, Jaden Ivey, and Jabari Smith. So some awesome stuff going on. But who was the guy, Taylor? You still figuring it out?
I was hoping I would find Nico Mikola.
Thank
was
you.
the defenseman.
Dude, how do you forget a name like that?
Nico Mikola was traded with Vladimir Tarasenko from the Blues to to the Rangers, and they're already a team that was red hot coming into that trade. They had won a lot. They had been streaking. I think it was something like they were like 22 and like 11, 25 and 11, something like that in their last 36 games or something. They were playing really good hockey. They go and acquire Tarasenko. They beat a good Kraken team 6-3. Then they play the number one seed in the Metropolitan, the Hurricanes, the team they beat in the playoffs last year. Hurricanes, of course, really want to beat the Rangers. They go into Raleigh and beat them 6-2, and just
Damn.
kind of put their foot on their throat and said, "We're the class of the Metro right now," and have won 3 straight since they got them. Won 5 straight as a whole. Wagon.
What
They're a
wagon?
wagon, an absolute wagon.
You heard it here first. New York Rangers wagon. But that will wrap it up for episode 83 of Crunch Time with the N326 duo. Congrats, you have made it to the end of the episode. So shout out to you. Talked about a lot this episode. Some Super Bowl talk, the end of the year recap with the NFL, NBA trade deadline.
Every time you say that, I get so sad.
I know.
End of the year with the NFL. No more
Yeah.
football.
And until Saturday, of course.
Yeah. Go Vienna Vikings.
And then some unexpected NHL talk, which we love. But
Wagon.
let us know what you thought of the Super Bowl. Let us know your thoughts on the Sodgate, that holding call. Also, who do you think made the biggest moves in the NBA trade deadline? And also let us know why you think KD is the softest NBA player in the history of the NBA. Let us know what your picks are. Do you think Mac McClung's going to take home that dunk contest trophy? Who do you got win the 3-point contest? But meanwhile, you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at crunchtime_pod. And make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crunch Time with the N326 duo as well. But with that, the clock has run out on this episode, but we will see you on the next one on Crunch Time.